Hello everyone, Paul here, and today we're going to be talking about how to make better coffee at home. So is your coffee game at home lacking? Well, don't worry, by adding these 4 things you can make massive improvements to your coffee brews at home. And it turns out they don't all cost the earth. So you don't need a full-on coffee shop in your kitchen to make amazing coffee in the morning. Number 1 is a coffee storage system. So coffee beans begin to lose their freshness pretty quickly, and their arch nemesis is heat, moisture and air. So unless you're powering through kilos and kilos of coffee at rapid fire speed, and I'm talking 2 weeks or less, you're better off investing in a coffee storage system. One that's opaque and airtight is a brilliant way to start. Number 2, scales. You can't brew amazing coffee without scales. Fact. So coffee outcomes depend on bean accuracy, and since coffee beans aren't a uniform size, using a teaspoon of coffee per X amount of water doesn't work. The easiest way to get consistently amazing coffee is to invest in a set of scales. If you're just starting out, don't worry about buying fancy pants coffee scales. Just a standard set of kitchen scales will be good just to start off with. Top tip, I use a ratio when I'm making espresso of 1 to 2. So I use 18 grams of freshly ground coffee, which makes 36 grams of freshly brewed espresso. Number 3, coffee grinder. Your coffee will taste much better if you grind it at home just before you brew it. Ideally, you want an electric grinder with adjustable conical burrs. Number 4, a kettle. So similar to what I spoke about with the exact coffee measurements, you also want to pay close attention to the water temperature that you're using to brew your coffee. Pouring boiling water onto freshly ground coffee is not a good idea. All you're going to do is burn the coffee beans and make bitter coffee. No good. When looking for a kettle, you want to make sure that number 1, it's gooseneck, and this allows you to control the rate of pour when you're pouring, especially if you're making a Chemex or a V60. You want to make sure it's electric, so when it gets to the optimum brew temperature, it cuts out, it doesn't get any hotter. And also you want a variable temperature control, so you can adjust the temperature depending on what brew method you're using at home. The last one is your brew method of choice. Now this is the fun part. You get to choose how you brew your coffee at home. Whether it's a French press at the cheaper end of the scale, you can pick one of those up for £3 or £4, or you might go for a domestic espresso machine like the Sage Barista Express that I've got in my kitchen, but that will set you back a bit. So whatever method it is that you choose to brew your coffee at home, whether that's French press, V60, Chemex, whatever it is, make sure you're using a recipe. And a recipe is really important because once you get it right, then you're going to follow that recipe to the T and get amazing results each and every time. If you're just banging stuff in willy-nilly, who knows? You may get it right and it may be amazing. So for more information about upgrading your equipment at home, check out our blog on our website. Bye for now.